fate of the free world lies in each and every one of your hands. The power to restore good over evil lies in the very depths of your soul. At your very fingertip is the key to happiness and prosperity for all. Hello everyone, I'm Marvin Lawrence. And today it is my duty to urge each and every one of you to get out there and vote this coming November. I have been voting since I was 18 years of age, and voting is the single greatest honor any American can have. With great honor comes great responsibility, and voting is a responsibility each and every one of us has as an American citizen. Whether you're voting for the highest office in the land or just your local elections, every election held plays a significant role on millions of American lives. This is a duty that our parents and their parents before them have embraced, and it is because of the decisions of them that has led to the preservation of this great union. Today I will explain to you why you must vote, in hopes that you may continue on the duty imposed on every American citizen. Voting is a privilege, but it was a privilege not always granted to every American citizen. For years, Black American men and women were deprived the right to vote. It wasn't until 1870, in the passing of the 15th Amendment, that blacks had truly gained the right to vote. Although they were granted this right by the Constitution, many blacks in the South were still stripped of their voting rights. According to Russell Brooker, from 1900 to 1965, African Americans in the South were still not allowed to vote. He also stated that whites in power created many methods to prevent African Americans from voting. Property tests, violence, and literacy tests were all amongst the most despicable methods used to prevent blacks from voting. Blacks did not truly gain the right to vote until President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act of 1965. It was during this when President Johnson stated that this was a triumph for freedom as huge as any victory that has ever been won on any battlefield. Just as African Americans were fighting for their right to vote, there was also another group of discriminated individuals that were fighting for theirs. The right for women to vote was a much tougher road than that of African Americans. Women were facing the idealism that they should stay at home, tend to the children, and be a submissive wife, all things that were meant to make them feel less than that of a man. All of this changed on June 4th, 1919, with the passing of the 19th Amendment. Women had finally gained the right to vote. A suffrage that had begun decades before had finally come to an end, greeted with victory. Most attest the passing of the 19th Amendment to the Great War, World War I. It was during this war that women had not only began to take on duties of men, but also tend to their duties at home as well. During his address to Congress, President Woodrow Wilson spoke on women's suffrage, in which he stated, "We have made partners with women in this war. Shall we admit them to only a partnership of suffering and sacrifice and toil, and not to a partnership of privilege and right?" African Americans and women fought all throughout history for our right to vote, and it is important that we know our past as it determines our history. All throughout history, people have fought for our rights to vote, and it is important that we accept our responsibility. I look to Franklin Delano Roosevelt when he stated, "Nobody will ever deprive the American people of their right to vote, except the American people themselves, and they will do this by not voting." Unlike any time before in history, millennials are now the single largest cohort in the electorate, according to William Galveston. This provides a more progressive majority than ever before in history. What will we do with this power? Will we stand by and let it sink into the trenches of the unknown, or will we stand up and solidify our rightful slot in history? As I begin to close, I look to a quote from Martin Luther King. "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." When you don't vote, you become silent. When you don't vote, things begin to not matter. When you don't vote, everything you love fades into the dark. Unlike any time before in history, we have reached the turn of the new millennium. You must now take a stand in what you believe in. Do you stand for bigotry, for hate, for tyranny, or do you stand for freedom, compassion, and love? Make your voice count, make your voice heard, vote. I did not only come here to talk to you today about why you must vote, but also who you must vote for. I need you all to go to my GoFundMe page and support Mayor Andrew Gilliam. He is now in a race locked in the most heated battles ever before seen in Florida governor race history. Support him as he supports higher education, paying teachers more. He also supports the Medicare for All program created by Senator Bernie Sanders. I need you to support his causes because his causes are our causes. Thank you.